Spain conceded 1 goal in 7 World Cup matches. Argentina were 11 minutes from elimination in the round of 16, trailing Egypt 2-0 before scoring 3 times to survive. Both teams are in the final on Sunday, and the gap between how they got there is the whole story of what you're about to watch. One team has barely been touched. The other has been on the edge of going home 3 separate times and found a way through every single time. That's not luck on Spain's part, and it's not a coincidence on Argentina's. It's 2 completely opposite ideas about how to win a soccer match. One built on control so total that chaos never gets a chance to start. The other built on surviving chaos long enough to turn it into something else. Understanding that split is the difference between watching Sunday's final and actually seeing it. And before we're done, there's one detail about this final that connects all the way back to the last time this country hosted one, more than 30 years ago. Something that could make Sunday the most memorable match ever played on American soil. Hold on to that. No predictions, no hype, just the real shape of the match, translated, and what you should actually be looking for when you sit down Sunday at 3 o'clock Eastern on Fox. Start with Spain, because understanding them first makes Argentina make a lot more sense. Spain came into this tournament as European champions. They won Euro 2024 under manager Luis de la Fuente, and they carried that form straight into this World Cup without blinking. Their opening game was a 0-0 draw against Cape Verde that basically nobody noticed. Then they beat Saudi Arabia, beat Uruguay, and moved into the knockout rounds with the quietest kind of confidence. The kind where you don't need to make noise, because the scoreboard does it for you. In the quarterfinal against Belgium, Spain won 2-1, and that Belgium goal was the only one they conceded in the entire tournament. 7 matches, 1 goal allowed. Sit with that number for a second, because in a tournament this long, against this many elite teams, that is genuinely extraordinary. The semifinal was where Spain announced themselves to anyone still not paying attention. They beat France 2-0 in Dallas, as underdogs, which is a strange thing to say about a team this composed. Oyarzabal scored from the penalty spot in the 22nd minute, Porro added a second in the 58th, and France barely got a look in after the break. Spain have won the World Cup exactly once, back in 2010. Sunday is only the 2nd time they've ever reached the final. Here's the part that confuses a lot of first-time viewers, and it's worth getting right. When you watch Spain, especially if you're used to American sports, your first instinct might be that they're playing passively. They pass sideways, they pass backwards, they slow the game to a pace that can feel almost boring. It looks like they're not even trying to attack. That reading is completely wrong, and flipping it is the key to the whole match. Every pass Spain makes is a defensive act. When they have the ball, the other team cannot score. It's that simple. And the way they move it, short, patient, always keeping an option open, means they almost never give it away cheaply. They're not waiting around, they're suffocating you. They take the air out of the game, and by the time 60 or 70 minutes have gone, the team on the other end starts to get desperate, starts to make mistakes, starts to open up space. That's when Spain attack. It's the most aggressive thing in soccer, dressed up as the calmest. And it's genuinely hard to do because it needs all 11 players in exactly the right place at exactly the right moment, all game long. One player loses concentration, and the whole structure breaks. Spain haven't broken once in 7 matches. There's a mental cost to being on the other side of it too. Chasing a ball you never get to touch is exhausting, physically, but mostly in the head. Every time you lunge and miss, every time the pass goes around you, a little more belief drains out of the team. By the last half hour, opponents aren't just tired, they're rattled. They start reaching, fouling, gambling on interceptions that aren't there. That's the trap. Spain don't beat you with a moment of magic. They wait for you to hand them one. So here's what to watch for on Spain's side. How long Argentina go without touching the ball. There will be stretches where Argentina's players are just chasing, and watch Spain's back line, because the real test of Sunday is whether Argentina can force that defense into a moment where it actually has to defend under pressure. In 7 games, that has almost never happened. Now Argentina, and this is where the tournament gets genuinely strange. Argentina are the defending world champions. On paper, their path looked manageable. No top 15 ranked opponent until England in the semifinals. But the scorelines tell a completely different story. It started in the round of 32. Cape Verde, a small island nation off the coast of West Africa, at its first World Cup, took the champions to extra time before losing 3-2. Argentina needed an extra 30 minutes just to get past Cape Verde. Then came the round of 16, and this one needs some room to breathe. Egypt were on course for one of the biggest upsets in tournament history. They led Argentina 2-0 with 11 minutes left. 11 minutes. The defending champions were 11 minutes from going home, trailing by 2 goals to a team that had never once reached a World Cup quarterfinal. And then, Argentina scored 3 times to win 3-2. The match was bitterly controversial. The Egyptian Football Association said it cannot remain silent over the refereeing. Much of the anger centered on an Egyptian goal, disallowed in the 62nd minute after a video review found a foul in the build-up. Egypt filed an official complaint with FIFA. FIFA defended the decision. The result stands. Then the quarterfinal against Switzerland. And once again, it went the distance. Argentina led early through McAllister, got pegged back to 1-1, and needed extra time all over again before Julian Alvarez settled it in a 3-1 win. Their third knockout game, their second trip to extra time. Then the semifinal against England. Messi set up Enzo Fernandez to level it from 20 yards in the 85th minute, then crossed for substitute Lautaro Martinez to head the winner in the 2nd minute of stoppage time. Argentina won 2-1. So added up, 4 knockout games, 2 of them settled in extra time, and every single one of them decided in the closing minutes. This team does not dominate. It does not control. It plays badly for long stretches. And then, in the final 20 minutes, it becomes something else entirely. So here's what to watch for on Argentina's side. The clock. The game might look like Spain are in total control for an hour. Argentina might look disorganized, reactive, outplayed. Do not turn it off. The last 20 minutes of an Argentina match are a completely different game, and they've proven 3 times in this tournament that they know how to survive until those 20 minutes arrive. Now the 2 players at the center of all of it, and the 2 numbers that matter most on Sunday, 39 and 19. Lionel Messi is 39 years old. This is his 6th World Cup, which ties the record for the most tournaments any player has ever appeared in. He's the all-time leading scorer in World Cup history with 21 goals, having passed Miroslav Klose's old record of 16. 6 World Cups, the all-time scoring record. And here's the twist that makes Sunday genuinely strange. He has never once won the Golden Boot, the award for the tournament's top scorer. In 2014, he tied for 3rd with 4 goals. In 2022, he scored 7, led Argentina to the title, and still finished 2nd because Kylian Mbappe scored a hat-trick in the final itself and went past him. 6 World Cups, the all-time record, never the tournament's top scorer. He can win it outright on Sunday. And Messi has never said this is his last World Cup. He's never announced a retirement, but he'd be 43 at the next one, in 2030. So whether he says it or not, Sunday may be the last time anyone ever watches him do this. Across from him is Lamine Yamal, 19 years old. He turned 19 the day before the semifinal against France. Only 2 players have ever appeared in a World Cup final at a younger age. The record belongs to Pelé, who was 17 years and 249 days old when he scored twice in Brazil's famous 5-2 win over Sweden in the 1958 final. Second is the former Italy defender Giuseppe Bergomi, 18 years and 174 days old when Italy beat West Germany in 1982. On the day of this final, Yamal will be 19 years and 6 days, edging out Kylian Mbappe, who was 19 years and 207 days when France won in 2018. Yamal's been relatively quiet this tournament, 1 goal in 7 games. But that goal, in the opening 10 minutes against Saudi Arabia, made him the 2nd youngest player ever to open the scoring in a World Cup match, behind only Pelé. And at Euro 2024, he was 16 years and 362 days old when he scored against France, the youngest goal scorer in the history of any major men's tournament, a record that had stood to Pelé for 66 years. And then there's the part of this story that people who cover soccer for a living can't quite believe is real. In 2007, Yamal's family won a raffle for a photo shoot with Barcelona's players for a UNICEF charity calendar. The photographer's idea was to have Messi bathe the baby in a plastic tub. Messi, famously shy, didn't quite know how to hold him. Lamine Yamal was 6 months old. 19 years later, they share a World Cup final. The baby from the photo, now one of the best players on the planet, and the man who held him needing to stop him. And one more weight on top of it all. If Argentina win, they become the first back-to-back World Cup champions since Brazil in 1958 and 1962. 64 years. Only Italy and Brazil have ever done it. Before Sunday, if you want the rules themselves, what offside actually means, what VAR is, how the knockout format works, there are 2 videos on this channel that cover all of it. The 2026 World Cup, explained for Americans who've never watched soccer, and every soccer rule explained in under 15 minutes. Both are worth watching before kickoff, especially if this is your first final. Now strip it all back, because this is what Sunday actually comes down to. Spain won a quiet game, long stretches of possession, minimal chaos, a match that never slips out of their control. If Spain get the game they want, they almost certainly win. Argentina need a loud game, urgency, pressure, a match that gets emotional and fast and unpredictable. If Argentina get the game they want, anything can happen. Whoever forces the other team to play their version of soccer, that's the team that wins. It's almost that simple. And now the detail from the beginning. The last time this country hosted a World Cup final was 1994 at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, in front of more than 94,000 people. Brazil versus Italy, 2 of the greatest soccer nations there have ever been. And for 120 minutes, nobody scored. Not in 90 minutes, not in 30 more of extra time. It's still the only scoreless final in World Cup history, and it was the first ever decided by a penalty shootout, which meant it came down to a handful of players walking from the halfway line to the spot, one at a time, with a nation on each kick. And the last one belonged to Roberto Baggio, arguably the best player in the world at that moment, the man who had almost single-handedly carried Italy to that final. He needed to score to keep his team alive. He put it over the bar. America's one and only World Cup final wasn't decided by a goal at all. It was decided by the cruelest thing the sport has, a missed penalty. Sunday at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey is only the second time this country has ever hosted the final. The first ended without a single goal in 120 minutes. Sunday could be the complete opposite. 2 teams that both know how to score, one of the greatest players who ever lived possibly playing his last match on this stage, and a 19-year-old he once held as a baby trying to stop him. Kickoff is Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern at MetLife Stadium. It's on Fox. So, control or chaos? Which one holds? Drop it in the comments. And now you know exactly what you're watching.